I'm the only one who got away because I got legit. He told her 97 at the time. Everybody else got like 75 years in jail, so he literally saved my life. I never could believe I could be a rapper. He taught me into rapping, so he wanted us to make peace forever, but we were just being stubborn and ignoring him. 50 agreed their truce was long overdue while speaking to MTV at a red carpet. That was interesting. The competitive nature of pop to compete. It was one of those things that it went on longer than it was supposed to. The gala. The Tyson Jones Jr. fight made Snoop Dogg a celebrated boxing commentator overnight. His presence during the event was so well received, he was reportedly launching a professional boxing league, which Ryan Kavanaugh called the fight. But what do you guys think? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell to stay up to date on our new videos. And as always, make sure to keep it all the way locked at hiphopdx.com.
Shit is just. Like, nigga, you're not the.
Free 2-hour grocery delivery. Now with Prime.
Come on down here. Come on down here. Bitch. That nigga survived. I don't know how, but that nigga survived. shit, they gonna try to kill me. Yeah. Who next? Of course I hit him. Look how the shit turns. Whoa, almost did it again.
The world of work may have changed, but progress.
LeBron James has a 16-year-old son you may have heard about named Ron, in high school, and this extension for LeBron, the 2 years of 2022, 2023, right around the time that Ron will be eligible to join the NBA. LeBron was on the Uninterrupted podcast, which he has a financial stake in. Speaking of mogul, always got his hands in something, right? He is a businessman, as Jay-Z would say. You guys probably didn't think I knew that. But LeBron essentially weighing in and essentially saying about a year and a half ago that titles I win, I don't care if I go back to Cleveland and win one, I don't care if I win one with the Lakers, whatever. The best thing that could ever happen to me on a basketball court, no matter how many Larry O'Briens I hoist, would be this.
What was the greatest achievement of my life? If I can on the same court as my son in the NBA, that would be number one in my lifetime as an NBA player. Play together or play against.
Now, this was said 18 months ago. Fast forward, he's got a title with the Lakers. His son continues to ascend. He's 16. Jay, is this a possibility of happening?
He's LeBron James.
He's arguably the greatest player to ever play the game, regardless of whether you have him 1, 2. I know Paul Pierce has him just barely in the top 5, which is ludicrous, by the way. But still, it's the greatest player in the game. So my thing is, Bronny James. No, well, that's Paul Pierce. A whole different conversation. I don't want to go on a tangent. Let's get back here to what we were talking about. All I'm saying is, Bronny James is in a position to go to a top-tier college. If he goes to a top-tier college and if he plays decently, consider he continues to develop, he'll make an NBA roster. There are a lot of people who are in NBA rosters who are right there on the cusp of being in the G League, being overseas. But this reality of business is all about relationships. It's all about relationships. You cannot tell me, now that could be with the Lakers or it could be with another organization, that a team would not draft Bronny James, granted he keeps developing, okay? That's the key. In order for him to potentially say, hey, maybe your dad would like to come here and play with you at the tail end of his career. That would do, and Key just talked about this, the incentivization. Is that even the word? I just made it. It is now. It is. Come to my organization, increase the value of my organization, fill the seats with fans, and play with your son and live out your dreams at the tail end. This organization will take a chance on Bronny James to do that.
As long as he continues to develop, I mean, it's hard. Look, he's not a 6'7" freshman. You know what I'm saying? He's a smaller guard that's a freshman in high school that has some time to develop his body. When you think about LiAngelo Ball 6 years ago, was an itty-bitty dude.
You mean LaMelo?
I mean LaMelo.
Yeah.
LaMelo.
There's a lot of balls.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. He was a small. Now he's a 6'7.5", 6'8" guard. Mm-hmm. So as he continues to grow and get better at it, then yes, I'm an owner of the Sacramento Kings, for instance. Just use that. I'm willing to sign LeBron James to help me build an infrastructure, fan base, whatever it is that we're looking for at that time. If I draft his son and bring him on the team, that son, obviously, you're not just drafting a guy because he's walking down the street. He's got to have some ability to be able to play, right? And so you would think that LeBron James and his crew is making sure that his son is developing at that level where he'll be able to live that dream.
I hope he continues to develop. But Bronny James does not need to be 6'7" to be drafted. You can draft.
No, you don't need to be 6'7". I'm just saying, as you continue, because he's so young, how hard is it to evaluate somebody in the 9th grade?
No, I think he's a sophomore.
He's a sophomore.
10th grade.
Yep. All I'm going to say, though, is let's say, hypothetically, and this won't happen, because obviously being around great players, access to the resources and facilities, his game will continue to blossom, continue to develop. But let's say, hypothetically, his game doesn't develop. And it stays the same. Maybe he just scores a couple inches. Maybe he scores 3-6. You're going to take a chance on him in the second round because of the opportunity. Because of the opportunity that LeBron James might come to your organization, play a year with Bronny James, or the Lakers will find some way to bring him on board. I'm just saying, if you're an owner or a GM, you're looking at this differently. Especially if it doesn't end up in the second round, later in the second round. So many teams stash people in overseas for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, let it develop.
You're telling me you wouldn't do that with Bronny James? For the opportunity to bring LeBron James to your organization to increase awareness? You talk about an injection or an infusion of energy with Russell Westbrook going to DC. Why wouldn't you look at this situation the same way?
And to my note, the only professional athlete father-son duo was Ken Griffey Jr. That's the only one that I can think. I've been sitting here trying to think. I know there's a lot of fathers who's played, whether it's Michael Thompson and Clay or the Berry family, but not at the same time.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I want to give you some context on age. You mentioned LeBron here at 36 and what essentially is going to happen when Bronny is 16, 20-year age difference or thereabouts, if you want to call it. Great call, Key. Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr., joining the Mariners.
Slow your notes.
Back in the day. Yeah, you're reading me at my own job. Don't be too good at this. I got to fill in the gaps here a little bit. The elder Griffey Sr. was 40. Griffey Jr. was 20. So right there, right around 20. So 40 and 20 in that baseball comparison. But that's the most notable one, at least for the moment.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.
The new Jabra Elite 85T. Control the noise you block out with advanced active noise cancellation for supreme sounding music and calls. Jabra Elite 85T. Accept no compromise.
Care to look over my wares? Mostly stolen, but who's telling me? Hard times, eh? I'm sure he'll turn things around.
Hell no. Dragon ain't even come no more. Like, what the fuck?
After being one of the first women in the plumbing industry, here I am with the Michigan Central train station contract. When my kids can stand back and say, my mom did that, it's a beautiful thing. My name is Adrienne Bennett, and this is how I power America forward.
In the morning. Breakfast Club. Morning, everybody. DJ, MV, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building. You finally came to sit in this hot seat. That's right. From my fellow queen, DJ Smith. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing? Good morning. Now, I haven't seen First Take this week. Did you talk about how good my Dallas Cowboys looked on this past Sunday? You know what? Talk about how like the front runners. Even when you gave me Donkey of the Day awards and all of this other stuff, I defended you. I said, Joe, I'm a big boy. I could take it. If he feel I deserve it, ain't no big deal. But then you're going to bring up the Cowboys. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm trying to come to you. Listen, y'all ain't win since 1995. No, let's not talk about the past. Let's talk about Sunday. That's what y'all always do. This is our year. We're going to the Super Bowl. No, 3-13. Season ends January 3rd at 7 o'clock.
Every year.
You know we're going to the Super Bowl next year, right? Next year. Then we look good on Sunday, though. Y'all look good. Dallas is a monster. Their defense is no joke. Dak deserves his money, though. You better take care of him. He will. But I will say this. New Orleans, L.A., Aaron Rodgers back, don't sleep. Chicago's there. And I think Philadelphia going to win the NFC East. Really? Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey, Zach Ertz, Brock Carson Wentz is better than Dak Prescott, even though I got love for Dak. Well, guess what I said? What? Dallas Cowboys going to win the Super Bowl.
Every year. Who do you think is going to win? The Giants?
You know what I mean? He don't mean that. He don't mean that. He's just being emotional. I understand that. You know it's bad when Daniel Jones shows up in the first game. I mean, there's only 2 minutes left. He showed up in game 1. Yeah. That tells you all you need to know. I mean, the owner was just weeks removed from saying, I hope we don't see him all year. Yeah. Because that means Eli is playing lights out. And the brother showed up before the first game expired. Yeah. Bad news for you. Why are we talking about football anyway? Before
you get to that, though, I do want to say Envy's also retired as a fifth man.
I don't blame him. Yeah, I'm done. I don't blame him. I can't do it anymore.
So what are your thoughts on?
Well, I'm not going to go that far about myself because I am what I am, but I will say this. I don't blame any Knicks fan for feeling that way. And it's not just because of the perpetual misery. It's because when you lose out to KD and Kyrie,
shout out to our
Brooklyn Nets.
Our Brooklyn Nets.
It's over. The Knicks brand is officially not what it used to be. Trash.
So if you had a choice to go to a Nets game or a Knicks game, which one are you going?
Oh, hell yes, the Nets.
Okay.
I gotta say this to you. It's not that the Knicks ain't gonna be better, but I gotta say this.
People forget this. KD, when he comes back, that means you're a legitimate contender.
Correct.
But without KD, without Kyrie, they were still a playoff team. And then with Kyrie, people forget Kyrie is showstopper. Kyrie is box office. So it's worth the price of admission to walk through the turnstiles and watch him.
Can him and KD play together though? Because I feel like
find out.
Yeah, I feel like both of them have very low emotional IQs. And this is New York. Like if you got thin skin and you can't handle people talking about you, critiquing you, it's gonna be rough.
I would say this to you: Kyrie can handle it. KD, this is my argument in defense of KD, and Lord knows we've had our back and forth. We still have our back and forth. But here's the deal about KD. Every time I see KD having that, every time people get on him, he drops 40. But if that's your definition of a bad day, go ahead and have it.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead. Right. He's the kind of cat where his game is going to be his game. His game will not disappoint you. And the reason why I think they can coexist, I think KD, who, by the way, I'm going to see Friday, KD is one of those guys, he's one of the most unselfish superstars you'll ever see.
Well, you going to see him Friday? You coming on the show?
No, yeah, he wanted me on the board.
Okay. Now we got to talk Carmelo. Now we seen your interview with Melo.
Yeah.
Now you don't think they do my guy Melo?
Oh, no. Without
question. He should have
without question, they do.
A good tour on his last season.
No. Stop the tour. Stop the tour. Melo belongs to the league. He's 250 players, let alone 450 plus players better than Carmelo Anthony. Now you're making the argument that the ball stops moving. But I think what people are missing is what has happened to the NBA game. You got a bunch of these white dudes that are analytics dudes. And so they're numbers crunchers. And everything is according to PER and all of this other stuff, all of these statistical categories. Well, what has happened is they're looking at that and they're using that to frame rosters. Because if you go to an owner and an owner particularly doesn't know basketball, what's their position? I know numbers. Well, if you're an analytics dude, you coming to them with numbers. So they're going to let you flow. This is why Daryl Morey let go of Carmelo with 10 games into the season. Because the analytics dudes judge the game in 10-game increments. After 10 games, they think it tells you something. So if they wanted Charlamagne or they wanted Angela, they wanted you, they say, okay, we want you going. They ain't cutting you game 15. They're going to cut you at 10 or 20 or 30. It's like 10-game increments. So it wasn't an accident. So you got that working against Melo. And one coach said this to me. He said, Stephen A., this brother's a future Hall of Famer. But I don't think he works for my 9-man rotation. How am I supposed to look down at the end of the bench and see a Hall of Famer and think I'm not going to take heat for that?
Wow.
Why would I want that headache? I know he from rosters from 9 to 15, he clearly could be on any team in the NBA. The problem is most of those dudes are marginal talents without his resume that you could justify and get away with it and have peace of mind. How you gonna have Melo on the end of the bench? He said that's a headache we don't want. That's why he's not in the league. That's what he said. I don't think it's over yet because I think there's still a couple of teams he could help. I don't know if Brooklyn is the right thing, but I personally believe that LeBron should find a way to get him.
Yeah.
I personally believe. I think that Doc Rivers could use him. I think that LeBron in LA could use him with the Lakers. There's a few other teams that you could mention that he probably wouldn't want to be. I don't mind an end run with the Knicks. All right, you want to honor him as the Knicks, fine. You want to honor him as the Denver Nuggets, fine. But that damn national tour throughout the NBA, no, that should be reserved for champions.
Yeah, I don't want him to end his career with the Knicks. He don't deserve that.
All right.
He's been through enough.
But what do you retire in Jersey, though? Do you retire in New York? Do you retire in Denver? Where do you retire?
I say more so New York. Denver, only reason I say no to Denver, even though those were some would argue his best years.
Right.
The problem is he wanted out. He pushed himself out of that door. I didn't want to be here. I want to get to the East Coast. They're going to hold that against him. There is absolutely nothing to hold against him in New York. Nobody else wanted to even come.
Have any athletes ever tried to hold your commentary against you? They ever tried to press you?
They do it every day.
Like, I'm talking about like press you. Like, physically.
Yeah, it's a couple. But that didn't work out well.
No, wait, didn't you get smacked on the butt once?
That was by Morris for the Washington Wizards. He slapped me and they won a game, and I thought nothing of it until a couple of days later he said publicly, "Well, I just did that because that's all I could do." And I was like, "Well, wait a minute, I thought you were playing around." Like you were serious? Like you really? I said, "Okay." And I went on national TV. I said, let that happen. Don't do that. Don't do that. Sometimes it ain't about winning or losing. Sometimes it's what you're willing to do to make your point. Right.
People
I'm not
block you a lot, though.
It ain't going down like that.
People block you, though. I saw Antonio Brown just blocked you.
Well, he should be blocking everybody. He's acting like a buffoon. And I'm not calling him a buffoon. I'm not calling him clownish because that's engaging in character assassination. I'm talking about how he has conducted himself over the last few weeks. I don't believe you do the kind of stuff that he did. And I wasn't following him or anything. I'm just, I just do what I do on TV or radio, and they post it on social media, and he didn't want it disseminated to his followers. And I don't blame him because I went in on him and he deserved it.
Do you think the Patriots signing him sent the wrong message? Like they're rewarding bad behavior?
I don't think that's the Patriots' problem. Okay. I think that you're trying to win Super Bowls. You've already won 6 rings with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in that era. You have the license to do what you want to do. He was guaranteed $30 million from Oakland. He's only guaranteed 9 from New England. 5 in incentives he could earn, and then they got an option of $20 million on the second year. They are in complete control of his destiny with them, and because that's the reality, I have no problems whatsoever with them taking a position. I mean, this is who won. The brother's all this. One top 2 receivers, all of football. He's a future Hall of Famer, one of the greatest receivers we've ever seen. Can't take anything away from him. And I think with him, it's unfair. It's the equivalent of Durant with the Warriors. It's a foregone conclusion to me that the Patriots gonna win it all, barring injury.
Not Dallas Cowboys.
He's that great with Dallas.
I don't understand why everybody applauding Antonio. He found a way to lose $21 million. I don't think that should be applauded.
Exactly. I completely agree. But once we agree.
Yeah. Now, Odell, what do you think about this? Are 2 questions. What do you think about the Giants getting rid of Odell? And last week, him wearing a watch on the field.
First of all, I didn't like the fact that they got rid of him because they tried to paint it like he was such a bad guy. He was a bit emotional, a bit temperamental at times. That's all he did. The situation in France, he wasn't the one with the white powder substance in front of him. He was eating pizza. That woman was doing whatever it was she was doing. That's his business. Having said all of that, he was all world and what have you, and I thought he was box office, and they had just signed him to $95 million. So you said you didn't sign him to trade him, but that's exactly what you ended up doing. Having said all of that, he's got to check himself to some degree from the standpoint that, look, you haven't won anything. You've been to the playoffs once. The one thing that he has proven is that you can lose with him and you can lose without him, because they've been losing without him. All right, they already started off the season getting trolled by the Cowboys, right? And they obviously lost with him the previous 4 or 5 years that he was with the Giants. So at some point in time, you got to look in the mirror and you got to recognize the fact that I got to focus on football. I thought the watch thing and all of that stuff, he didn't break any rules. It's no crime. But in the same breath, nobody else is doing that. You trying to be different. Why aren't you trying to win? You taking videos with you and Kaepernick throwing you the football. I got no problem with that. But damn it, you need to establish yourself a Baker Mayfield. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what have you done? At some point in time, it's got to be about that. And I'm one of those guys that I want cats to get their money. I'm all for that. But in the same breath, I don't know about the rest of y'all. I think one of the problems is too many cats are getting paper. And I'm not talking salary. I'm talking endorsement deals, attention, and all of that stuff. You're getting it without winning. I want you to win. I want you to prioritize winning. Because guess what? Y'all do y'all thing every morning. You win. That's why y'all matter. Y'all losing, you wouldn't matter. Winning matters. It matters. I'm winning. It matters. When you ain't winning, but you being celebrated, I'm not down with that.
That's kind of this generation, though. They give out participation trophies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you pointed that out in your book. Yeah, I know. And I think it's a problem. And I think it's something that has to change. You know, and that's one of the things that I try to focus on in everything that I do. Just reminding people what the real world is. That ain't the real world. That's an aberration. The real world is what we talking about here. You know, we going to get into HBCU week and all of this other stuff. The bottom line is that you got to go out there and you have to produce. And if you don't produce, they will find someone else who does. But in the world of sports, unfortunately, we got too many cats that are being celebrated without winning. Right. And that's my issue. It's not that I don't want you to get your money. Not that I don't want you to get your paper and the attention and everything that comes with it, all the acclaim. I just want it to be because you win. Not because, oh, you flashy. Or if you really, really think about it, as electrifying as Odell Beckham Jr. is, and he is. If it wasn't for that one catch in the end zone against your Cowboys, we got to ask ourselves what kind of endorsements would he have gotten? And why would he have gotten them? You know about the catch. You know about his hair. You know about the commercial with Eli Manning during the Super Bowl. And you know that he showed up in a playoff game against the Green Bay Packers after being in South Beach the Monday before the game, chilling with the fellas on a boat. But when you went to Lambeau Field 6 days later, you were targeted 11 times. You caught 4 passes for 28 yards, and y'all lost the playoff game.
So let me ask you,
that's what we know.
Let's start from the beginning. A lot of people don't know. How did you get your start in this, and how did you get into your TV show? Because
sports broadcaster.